subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
Like we taped Comic View in that in 1999. It aired in 2000. Because of whatever that process was. So my year Comic View.
Who was it? Bruce was hosting. Who was host at the time?
The host, the first year I went on was Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley was the host. I was number 400. Yeah, I was comic number 400. They did like they did a lot of comics that year. And
are you auditioning for this? Like, how do you land Comic View?
Oh man, Sharon Baldwin. Man, we had a nice little package that we put together. She had some people that she knew that she could get the tape to, and they got me for Comic View. Like, I was the last person. Like, I had to get you because you had to get to Atlanta and everything yourself. I was the last person chosen. So I was the last person chosen on the last show, the last day, the last comic that performed. Oh, it was crazy. It was at Center Stage in Atlanta. And that was the experience. You couldn't really match the experience. The experience was fantastic. Even though it wasn't, well, I don't know what it would have been at the time. If I look back now, it didn't satisfy what I would want now. But then
at the time, it was right on time.
It was right, man. It was like a room like this that you had to be there at noon. You had to be there right at noon. I didn't tape until like 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, I taped like it was like.
Wait. You was at damn. You did a whole
Yeah, I did a day. I was in that room for 12 hours. So I remember because now the everybody got to be there, right? But then you get when your show is, what episode you doing, and then you could tell the people who already was the vets, because the show that was right before me was the show. This was the show because we were in Atlanta, and on this show, the first 3 comics are from Atlanta. We're talking about Bruce, Quake, Earthquake, Bruce, and Jamario.
Oh, heavyweight legends, yeah.
And it's still Lavelle Crawford. This is
it's stacked.
The show. Like, they don't give a damn about the show that's coming on after this. They hoping that they can keep some of the people from this audience over to even watch us. And man, I never forget being in that room and the experience and the camaraderie of watching it. And this dude was on stage and he was bombing. He was eating it. So when they tape 400 comics, they still don't show everybody. That's why they tape so many, because they don't know who gonna eat it or whatever. So he was eating it. And I'll never forget, Bruce said, now, he gonna come in here and he gonna ask how he did. Now, don't nobody lie to him. Just tell him the truth. Man, Jamario, Lavelle Crawford, that man walked in. Lavelle was like, and then the dude said, man, how did I do? And I was trying to hold my laughter because Lavelle was making me laugh already. So I'm like, And as soon as that man said, how I do, and Jamario said, man, Jamario ain't saying a damn thing. Boy, I hollered. I said I couldn't do it. I was like, I tried my best to hold it. I was under the table and I was trying to hold it, man, and I was flat because that's Jamario's signature line.
It's 2 things funny to me about this shit, and it's kind of what you about to get into. The fact that he did that shit, but the fact that he talked and said Jamario ain't saying shit like that's, Jamario.
That was his time. Jamario, but this man say Jamario ain't saying a damn thing. I said, boy, I was hollering. I said, man, this is the fraternity that I always wanted to be a part of this. And so now
Is that because people have been telling you that when you go to Comic View and you go to do this, is that where you kind of like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm finna make it out of Houston, or had you already knew before then, outside of just that determination of like I ain't gonna let you tell me what I can't do?
Comic View was when I got the Comic View joint, that was like I'm the wheels turning, fellas. So then after that, everybody from Houston start trying to make that transition to TV, because I had a young boy. I had a boy who been like, I was the youngest cat. Like I was the kid that's coming out. I got out at 25. So when I get to Comic View, I am 27. And everybody else has been, but I'm 27. I only been doing stand up really a year and a half basically. And now they like, wait a minute, we can't let the young boy outdo. So then Comic View did another season somewhere else. I was on it. And then they came to Houston. And I remember when they came to Houston, because Rushion McDonald was the person. Rushion made everybody audition too. And I couldn't believe that he made me audition. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I need to see what you gonna do.
So now I already done this, but all right.
So now those are the things, and I always feel like Houston comics doubt me. Like I always because this is the thing. I always have a problem with Houston people bigging up other people from other places. Like that shit.
And look right over the crib.
That shit just makes my blood boil. Because if you say who your comedy influences, and then you start mentioning cats that wasn't around you when you started, or helped you, or wrote material for you, or you not, I don't say stole, you mimic material from cats that you see from the crib and you go somewhere else with. So how is some cat from New York, or some cat from LA, or some cat from Chicago, or some cat from Atlanta your comedy influence when you wasn't around? How's any of these old niggas your comedy influence when you ain't got them in your phone? So that has always rubbed me the wrong way when I would listen to cats who I wrote the fucking jokes that you saying, nigga, and you talking about somebody else as your comedy influence? Okay. And it gives me a lot of reservation when it comes to assisting people sometimes. So I've helped cats from, it's not a city that somebody say, oh, Ali didn't help me. It's not one place. But when you don't get the homage from the people from your city, this shit is, I think people don't understand how big that is. Don't overlook me, because that's the only reason you know about 50 or you know about Jay-Z, because they city embraces them. And niggas like, well, man, who helped you out? Man, Jay was the. So if Scarface was your cat here, then you fucking can't be talking about Jay-Z over there, because it doesn't make sense. So if you know that you was here with me, and you know the standard of comedy in the South is predicated based upon me, the cadence and everything. There's so many niggas got my cadence that people don't know it's my cadence until they actually see the original person. It's like, and I see it just like this.
Is there anybody like that you would say like, man, that this is probably the biggest one? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so many. It's so many niggas. It's crazy. It's so many niggas. It's like, it's almost like this. When you hear Juicy, what artist comes to your mind?
Biggie off top, yeah.
But the people who created Juicy would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And Toomey would have a problem with that, because there's no that song without me. You know what I'm saying? There's no Regulators without
McDonald.
Without McDonald.
Yeah.
So it's like the person who sampled the instrumental, the actual playing of it, how do you supersede the person who created the beat? Like nobody can supersede James Brown. How? Because he's the most sampled. Why is he the most sampled? Because his product was so he revolutionized, changed, and then it was so great that you had to sample me to make your like Silk Sonic. I still say this: Silk Sonic did not. Oh, so you the new Silk Sonic. So they don't have a song. They have a cover. It's not like this is the yo man. I that's one of the things in my brain. Like I still got a lot of work to do on the person who I put at the top, which is Bill Cosby. This special is the first time that because when people ask me how do you rank storytellers in this business, Cosby, Carlin, then these are the number. Those are 1 and 2. Then these are the 3s. Eddie, Joy Diaz, me. That's why I always put myself in the 3 category.
Okay, let me ask you this: is that your storytelling 5, or is it your comedic 5, just in general?
Storytelling 5, and then comedic 5 is still Cosby, Pryor, Gregory, and not in that order.
Because I was asking that because you said Eddie, and like I always get into this thing of like Eddie Murphy was closer to my generation. You know what I'm saying? Granted, that was still Delirious and all that. I was a baby. You feel me? But if you ask me who I'm picking, I'm gonna pick Eddie Murphy, even though I know, without Richard Pryor, there's no Eddie Murphy in that. You know what I'm saying?
Without Cosby,
without Cosby, there's no Pryor, because Pryor came out wanting to do it. Yeah, he had to develop himself.
It all starts with Cosby.
Yeah.
Cosby was people can say what they want to say. That's the pinnacle. It's just is. And now with this special, people ask me, where you at now? I say Ali, Cosby, then everybody else can sort that shit out after that. And I would have never said that I'm not a better comic. I've become a better storyteller.
Donnie Houston.